All right, so let's talk a little bit about um, the Fallout 4 and the whole experience streaming through all of this. So I originally started streaming, actually started streaming in 2015, January 2015, towards the end of January actually, and so we were playing through just like other different games. I think we started out with like some BioShock and some Final Fantasy and stuff. And then when E3 2015 came around, Todd Howard came out on stage and announced Fallout 4 and showed a bunch of footage of it and was like, "Yo, this game's coming out in November." And so I got pretty hyped watching that. And I had never played a Fallout game up to that point. I knew of Fallout, but I had never touched it or played it or whatever. So I figured, oh, okay, well, it's a good time to play through these games. So I started with Fallout 1. I actually have the logs of like the games that we completed on stream going all the way back, because I wanted to have all that stuff documented. But it was back in 2015. As I pull it up here. It's also down below if you're watching on Twitch if you want to see the spreadsheet as well. But yeah, we started Fallout 1 August 13, 2015, and then we played Fallout 2 and Fallout 3 in that same year. So I beat 3 Fallout games in 2015, and then in 2016 we did Fallout New Vegas, and that was a blast. And then I didn't touch Fallout 4 until September 4th, 2017, which was last year. And we started playing through that. We started playing through it for maybe like a month, and then I had real bad internet to where I couldn't stream. So I decided that, like, okay, we're just gonna wait until the internet gets fixed or whatever. And then I tried to play the game again February of this year, 2018, and then we did like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 streams before the internet just got back to being real horrible again. And I kind of stopped streaming. Like it was not fun dealing with these issues anymore. It was not fun having to, you know, decide like when I was going to get to play the game if the internet was working rather than on my own schedule. So I stopped streaming for 4 months. I didn't think about streaming anymore. I just didn't really care about it anymore because it was not fun having to deal with all these internet issues when just trying to play a game, and my upload speed being horrible. So 4 months went by, and then E3 of this year kind of talked about, that's when, you know, I think 76 was announced, but not just because of 76, but just all the hype around E3. I love watching E3. I think anyone that calls himself, you know, a gamer watches E3 and loves to watch for the big announcements and stuff like that. So after watching E3, I kind of like that kind of reinvigorated me again to try streaming again, because by that point the internet, I think, had been fine. And also, if you're wondering like if I ever asked for help to get my internet sorted out, I did, but there's not much that they can do, especially if they see that everything's fine, even though it's clearly not. That is one of the most frustrating things to deal with as a streamer. And if you've ever streamed before, or if you've watched other broadcasters that you like, you've probably heard them talk about, you know, drop frames or the internet being bad to where they can't stream and stuff like that. And it's pretty frustrating to deal with. So, but yeah, we came back June 29th of 2018, and we were able to go from then until now, December 2nd, and really put in a lot of time to Fallout 4 to finally beat it. And it's been such a long ride to get to this point. And I know that just streaming Fallout 4 has probably hurt my channel more than helped it. because I think that there was a lot of viewers from back in the day that used to watch that don't watch now because all I played was Fallout 4, and that's not a game they're interested in. And that's fine, because I mean, every game that I played, there's going to be people that aren't interested in it, but really this was a huge stretch of time that I dedicated to one game. And now, like, when we stopped playing Fallout 4 the first time back in like October of last year, I did stream a couple of other games before going back to it, but I mean, Fallout 4 was something that I set out to do, to play and complete, you know, 3 years ago when it was announced and released. And I had this real big personal goal of playing through all the Fallout games. And it just got drawn out over the course of these 3 years. But the fact that it is finally done, I feel so relieved. I'm happy because now we can move on to other games, and you know, we just get back to having fun on stream and not having to kind of be like have pressure on myself to, you know, go through with what I like, this promise, this goal that I made of playing this, as well as like not have to keep playing the same game over and over again, even though if I like some days maybe I didn't want to. That's not to say that like I didn't have fun playing Fallout 4, but there were times where I was just like, it's gone on too long, you know. And I think some of the viewers felt that way as well, whether they said it or not. But I'm glad that it is done and we can move past this. I wouldn't really call it an obstacle, but I mean, I don't know. I guess more like an arc, to be honest, like a story arc. Fallout 4 was a big milestone for me to achieve because it was the last game in the series that I set out to do 3 years ago. So, yeah, there were times where I didn't really want to stream it, but the more that I would put it off, the longer it would take to beat it. But yeah, it was a fun game, and we can talk a little bit more about Fallout now, I guess. Fallout 4 was a pretty fun game. Going into it, I didn't really like that they got rid of the karma system, which we were accustomed to in the previous Fallout games, as well as the what do you call it? The skill system and stuff like that. I wasn't sure how I was going to like that, but once we got into the game and stuff and saw how the things were working, it was like, okay, it's not so bad. Maybe if there was a karma system, I would have liked that maybe a little bit more. I know you could, all the stuff you can probably mod now. But the skill system, it was like, okay, they like built it into perks. It's not too bad. Like your fans, but like your gameplay and more. Have a good one. Dagan, thank you for watching, man. You're probably already long gone. I was just rambling on. But thanks for hanging out with us, dude. I appreciate it. It was nice seeing you. So with that being said, with all those things like not in the game and stuff like that, it was still an enjoyable Fallout game, because Fallout games for me are they're like two halves. They are all about exploration and the locations and the setting and stuff that you can go to, and then the other half is like the characters, the story, and like all the lore that you're gonna get to read and uncover and stuff like that. And as long as that's in a Fallout game, I'm gonna have fun with it. And this one was, you know, pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think I really liked the main story up until the point that you find out about Sean and all that. I think from just having that mystery was, I don't know, really appealing to me. Like I really liked that. And then once it was, you know, uncovered and there was a little bit more to it, it kind of like, I don't know, fizzled out a little bit for me. I think the main story, that is, and then how like sort of kind of how messy the ending is. Like, I mean, you have all these factions and everything, like kind of like intersecting and intertwined and stuff like that. And it's kind of like a real mess. It's confusing, it's interesting, but I don't know. I don't think I really cared for that too much. And then sort of the decisions that you have to do, like, I mean, the stuff that you have to carry out if, like, you choose the Brotherhood, for example. Like, we had to get rid of the Railroad, which I didn't really want to do, as well as go to Far Harbor and kill off Dima and Acadia and all that stuff. Although that was optional. I didn't really have to do that. I could have just kept going past the game. But yeah, so it's kind of like, I don't know. Like the I guess the third act of the game was, it kind of like fizzled out for me a little bit, but I mean, like, to be honest, Fallout, the main story in Fallout games are usually kind of iffy a little bit. Like, I mean, Fallout 1 and 2 were pretty good storylines, because that was a big focus on those games, because those were CRPG games. But then once you got to 3 and New Vegas and 4, the main story was like decent in those games. Some of it was good, some parts were awesome. In some cases, DLC had better story than the main story, or side quests. But yeah, other than that, that's what I kind of thought about the main story for Fallout 4. I really dug the setting and the characters and the companions and all that stuff. That was fun. Different guns and places you get to go to, and the enemies and all that. Those are a lot of good stuff in this game. And then the Automatron DLC was awesome. I really loved that. Far Harbor was really cool. And then Nuka World, loved the setting, didn't really care for the story. And I know there was a lot of problems with that. A lot of people didn't really like it. A lot of people said it was, rushed. Didn't really think it out. They were kind of done with the game by that point. They released that DLC, but it was fun to go into this giant amusement park and just go and explore stuff. That was the most fun for me. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it on Fallout 4. I just wish that I would have been able to finish the game a lot sooner. That way we could offer, more variety for, the viewers, and, just play different games on stream instead of sticking to one all the time. And I'll talk more about that here in a moment. And then if somebody was to ask me, like, all right, you've played all the Fallout games. Well, I mean, the ones that I consider the main ones. There's still Tactics and a Brotherhood game, and then 76 isn't even in the mix. We don't even want to talk about 76. Which is your favorite Fallout game, or like how would you rank the Fallout games? And it's kind of hard to do. But I think I have to say that my favorite one was probably the one that started it all, and that's just Fallout 1, because without Fallout 1, without Fallout 1 and 2, maybe if I don't play those, maybe it doesn't mean as much to me. If I just started with 3 or New Vegas or something. I'm really glad that I went back and I played the CRPG Fallouts, the OG Fallouts, if you will. I think a lot of people probably didn't really play them that are into Fallout now. They probably could not even play it regardless, because it's not interesting to them because it's so different looking. But yeah, Fallout 1 kind of really started it all for me, and I'm glad that I played it. I really liked the story in that. That really got you introduced to the Wasteland and the Vaults and the Brotherhood of Steel and super mutants and ghouls and radiation and all that. All that stuff was introduced in that game for me for the very first time, and I have to say that's probably my favorite one. And then Fallout 2 is pretty good. There's more Brotherhood of Steel and Enclave stuff going on in that one than the previous one, which is pretty cool. Fallout 3, I really liked Fallout 3. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people prefer New Vegas over Fallout 3, and I can totally see that, understand that. Traveling around in the Capital Wasteland, is annoying in Fallout 3 because there's so many areas that are blocked off and you have to go, use the subway tunnels and stuff to get around from place to place. It's pretty annoying. But I really liked the story more in Fallout 3 than New Vegas. But I enjoyed the exploration more in New Vegas than I did in Fallout 3. And Fallout 3, I think, had better companions, or Fallout New Vegas had better companions than 3. More memorable ones and stuff like that. I know Remington's really loves Fallout New Vegas. But I mean, I had a good time with it. I don't know. Don't know if I really felt the main story too much. Like, it got to a point where it was just like, all right, I don't feel like I'm too interested in this story anymore. But yeah, no, it's they're all the Fallout games are pretty fun. I think if you've never played them, you should definitely check them out, especially the older ones, Fallout 1 and 2. Those have some humor in there that you won't get anywhere else. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. And there's a lot of stuff from those games that get referenced in like Fallout 3 or a little bit of New Vegas or even in this game as well. So it's good to play those games and kind of have that knowledge. But yeah, that's a wrap on the Fallout franchise playthrough. Something that I started all the way back in 2015. We stuck with Fallout 4 for 15 months. It actually would have been 15 months and a couple of days. But I am just glad to be done with it. I'm happy. I'm relieved. This means that we get to move on to other things, and I'm excited about that. And this is kind of me just sitting here talking for the past like 15, 20 minutes or however long it's been, is me kind of just sharing my thoughts and feelings during this process. And whether anyone's going to hear it or not, I don't care, because I just want to get this out. I want to let it out, man, because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't tell people. Like with Fallout 4, sometimes like not wanting to play it or not in the mood to play it, or just feeling kind of stressed and pressured to finish the game as quick as possible without actually rushing in the game. Just because it was like something that I just wanted to get out of the way and beat and finish, because there's been a lot of Fallout on this channel. And playing Fallout 4 was just kind of a nightmare to start out with all the whole internet situation and stuff like that. So I'm glad that it is over. And like I said, but you'll see Fallout on this channel once again whenever there is a new Fallout game that is story driven, that is a single player game, that is not an online multiplayer with no NPCs and no story, basically, pretty much. But anyways, that is going to be a wrap on that. Now to kind of talk about what we're going to be doing next. I don't know if I'll be streaming for a little bit here. Like, let me see this here. I don't know. Fine. There was a what was I gonna say? Oh, I guess just talking about like what we're doing going ahead. I was looking at a text message there. I probably won't be streaming for probably the rest of this week, I would imagine. There's some family business that's happening on Thursday that I kind of am focused in on now. Whether or not I reveal that or whatever, I mean, I don't know. Probably not. Just gonna keep it private, I guess. But yeah, hoping that whatever happens on Thursday goes well. And so that's kind of what I'm focused on right now at the moment. But I do want to get back to streaming soon. I don't want to wait like, a couple of weeks or whatever to get back to it. But I need to figure out what game we're going to be starting next. And kind of like how I've always done it these past 3 years, almost going on 4 years while streaming, is when I first started out, I said that like every game that I would play, I would finish to completion. and that I would also um, just focus on one game at a time. And I don't think that method works anymore for me. So I think what I'm going to start doing in the future, starting probably like now, I guess, is we'll probably always continue to play like RPG games. But I think what I might do is at the start of the week, we'll focus on that RPG game, and then at the end of the week, we'll play like another game that maybe doesn't have like a bunch of that isn't too like heavy on the story. You know, like we're playing like two RPGs. Could you imagine playing Mass Effect and The Witcher like simultaneously, or not simultaneously, but that you have to be pretty smart to play two games at once. But just like going back and forth between the games, like you're gonna get mixed up with like maybe like story and characters and lore and stuff like that. Like that's a lot to take in, and I don't want to do that, but I do want to offer like just some more of a variety, but still keep the RPG, but like play a game that it doesn't have a lot of story, maybe like an XCOM or Subnautica or Stardew Valley, or even like Resident Evil, the first game. Like, I don't know, we could mix in different games, and that's kind of what I want to do going forward. Because I was so focused on Fallout 4 that I didn't really want to play anything else, even in my downtime, like off stream and stuff like that. Like there were times where I just like didn't play video games because I was just too focused on Fallout. And I want to play other games. I don't want to just focus on one and not like neglect every other game until I finish whatever game I'm playing. So that's what I think we're gonna probably do. I think that's the change that we're gonna make. It can't hurt, because I've stuck with this one game rule, and until we finish the game for the past 3 years, almost 4. And it's got me this far. Like I honestly didn't think that there would be people that would even watch me. Like it is a low number. I know that for a fact, but still, it's like all the amount of people that have followed the channel, that have followed my YouTube channel. It's actually pretty close to the amount of followers I have on Twitch right now. But like, I don't know. I don't think I'm very interesting. I don't think that I am an interesting person. I'm very much an introvert, very shy. But streaming allows me to kind of break free from all that and kind of be, I guess, who I am. I try to be funny. I'm mostly serious most of the time, but I am pretty chill. And I just hope that like the people that show up are here because they want to see their favorite game or their favorite part in the game. But there are some times where people just, I guess they just like me. They just like what I do as a streamer, and I think that's pretty cool. But I consider myself to be just like maybe average at best. But the reason that I like streaming is because it's fun. It's a hobby of mine, and I just love doing it. And when it stops being fun is when I will stop streaming, whether I have viewers here or not. As long as it's fun, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm having fun. So, with that being said, I think we're gonna switch up the streams a little bit. Like I said, we'll figure out like a game that we're like a single player RPG that we're gonna, focus on. But then at the end of the week, we'll play something else that isn't too story heavy or whatever. That way it allows me to play different things and offer a variety for other people that are watching, or it also helps us out like with maybe getting more viewers and meeting new people by playing 2 different games instead of just one. So I think that's what we'll probably do. And I have to sit down and I have to figure out what game I want to start next and all of that sort of stuff. But the next game that I play on stream might not be, what the main game we're going to be playing is or whatever. I might just want to just jump around from a couple of things to start out with. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But Anyways, I think I've gone on long enough talking here and listening to some Fallout 4 music in the background. I think this is gonna do it. So I'm looking forward to playing more different games on stream. I'm looking forward to finally being done with this. I can't wait to make the tweet that, hey everyone, you know, Fallout 4, I'm done with it. Whether anybody responds to it or not, I don't know, but at least people will probably see it that follow me, so that way they know, hey man, we're done with it, we finished it. That ending was a little weird though. I gotta be honest. That ending was kind of weird. I don't know. Fallout 4, man. Fallout 4. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. And as I always say at the end of the streams, this is where our adventure ends for today. We'll see you guys at the next stream.